Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
For an entire generation, people have experienced Star Wars the only way it's been possible, on the TV screen.
Hey, it's Tim, and I am back. Yep, back from a nearly week-long vacation, camping in the woods, living off the grid. Okay, it wasn't roughing it roughly. I mean, we were in a cabin with electricity and running water, but I tell you, no internet. That's tough. Now, I came back to civilization to find a great surprise. Less Than 12 Parsecs has a new patron. Yep, that's right. I'm sending out a big thank you to Mr. Philip Dassing. Thank you so much for your support, Mr. Dassing. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Now, if you're saying to yourself, that name kinda sounds familiar, that's because it is. My very first Patreon patron was Mr. Ryan Dassing, Philip's brother. And that's right, you guessed it. My goal is to get every member of the Dassing clan to support this show and send me to Star Wars Celebration, because every penny I earn on Patreon is going straight to my Chicago 2019 fund. Thank you, Dassings, one and all. Hey, if you want to be as cool as the Dassing brothers, then please, won't you consider supporting this tiny little show on Patreon? We have lots of fun rewards, and I'm adding new ones all the time. In fact, once I reach a certain number of patrons, I'm going to start doing random monthly drawings for extra prizes and goodies, and all patrons, no matter what level you give at, will be eligible for these giveaways. Please check out patreon.com/LT12P for Less Than 12 Parsecs for more information. And thank you for your support. All right, now on with the show. Until anything is confirmed by Lucasfilm and it's printed on StarWars.com, I consider it a rumor. Now, I say this because the news of the day is the rumor that Kerri Russell has been cast in Episode 9. This has been all over my news feed this afternoon. I think I first read it yesterday, but it seems to have exploded today. Now, I'm very excited about this because I am a big fan of Kerri Russell's last television show, FX's The Americans. This was the best show of the last 10 years, in my opinion. One of the best, at least. It was tight, it was riveting, it was stressful, and Kerri Russell was amazing in this show. And so, because of my fandom of her recent televised work, I hope this rumor is more than just a rumor. I hope it is soon confirmed and we find out that she is going to end up in that galaxy far, far away. Oh, yeah, and if she ends up at Celebration, I'm just gonna have to get my photo with her as I cosplay Philip Jennings, her husband from that show. It'll be classic. It'll be great. Just you wait and see. So anyway, this rumor has led me to ponder what other television actors do I think would be great in a Star Wars film. And here's what I came up with.
Number 1.
Rian Johnson did some amazing work on television with Breaking Bad, as did that entire cast. But of all the cast members, the one actor I think would be great in the galaxy far, far away is Anna Gunn. She played the wife of Bryan Cranston's Walter White. Now, Star Wars is filled with strong women, and Anna Gunn can certainly pull that off. But here's the thing. I see her as an Imperial. Yes, the First Order has Captain Phasma and lots of other females in unnamed background roles, but I want to see a high-ranking Imperial officer, a general or an admiral, played by a woman. And to me, Anna Gunn seems like she could pull off the role of a stern, rigid, cold leader that the Empire is known for.
Number 2.
Probably more known for his comedic roles and animation voiceover work, but I say put Patrick Warburton into a Star Wars film. He's a big guy, so let's have him play a bounty hunter. Oh, how about an alien bounty hunter? But not CGI. Give him cool prosthetics. A mask that doesn't cover too much of his face to hinder his performance. I'd love to see that. And here we go, as a bonus edition, I'd like to see another large-sized comedic actor play his bounty hunter partner and or sibling. I'm thinking Mr. Rob Riggle, but have the two of them in a more light-hearted Star Wars film. One that's not an overt comedy, but adventurous and light and fun, the way Solo was. I would love to see the two of them paired up as partners in a Star Wars film for sure.
Number 3.
We all know that Star Wars has a history of being filled with many great British actors, and the Disney era is no different. So, let's take a look at UK television to find the next actor on my list. Now, honestly, you could pick anyone from Game of Thrones, but the actor I would choose is Stephen Delane. He played Stannis Baratheon on the HBO show. And if you're automatically thinking he would be a great bad guy, I'm gonna say no, I see him differently. That's because I've enjoyed his work on the show The Tunnel, where he plays a British detective who needs to team up with a French detective to solve a murder murder that takes place in the Channel Tunnel, aka the Chunnel. His performance on the show leads me to believe that he would be great playing someone who is put upon, like maybe a businessman who's caught between two sides and isn't happy about either choice. A man who wants to do the right thing, but he also has to look out for his own self-interest first. Now, this isn't the character he played on the Tunnel, but his performance there leads me to believe that he could pull this sort of thing off nicely.
Number 4.
Now, other than Broom Boy, we haven't seen a great child character in Star Wars. Ever. Never. Yes, I just said that. Fight me. And you know what? I think it's time that we do. A child that's integral to the plot, but not an annoyance. You know how there's always kids in the Jurassic Park movies? Sort of like that. Okay, maybe strike that thing about them not being annoying, but you know what I mean. So, what child actor would I cast? One of the Stranger Things kids? Nah, they're too well known at this point. I'd have to go with Jaden Lieberher. I'm sorry, I've totally butchered that last name. Lieberher. I think that's how you say it. He was in the remake of It, but I have to admit I haven't seen that yet. Instead, I first took notice of this kid on the Showtime television show Masters of Sex, the highly fictionalized telling of the life and work of Masters and Johnson. In that show, he was able to play an emotionally neglected child who, it appeared to me, had the beginnings of a dark side. Now, if Lucasfilm wanted to tell another story of a young Padawan who turns dark, and I'm not saying they should, but if they wanted to do that, and they wanted to start the tale at an earlier point in the character's life than they did Anakin, well then Jaden is the kid I would cast. But they need to make that film right now before he gets too old. So, it's not gonna happen.
Number 5.
And finally, you know, a lot of other genre franchises have brought back actors to play new characters over the years. Doctor Who and Star Trek have done this plenty of times, so why doesn't Star Wars? And yes, I hear you, Anthony Daniels has had multiple roles. So, with that in mind, and keeping in mind that this is a list pulling actors from television, I say there is a great actor in the television series Turn Washington Spies who needs to make a comeback to Star Wars. This gentleman superbly played the role of General Henry Clinton, and he needs to come back to Star Wars now more than ever. I'm talking about the one, the only, Mr. Ralph Brown. Or, as you may know him, Rick Ollier. That's right, the one, the only, Rick Ollier. Now, there's so much more I could say right now, but I won't. It's time to wrap this up. So there you go, 6 television actors who I would like to see in Star Wars feature films. Sorry, I didn't mean to turn this into a top 5 list, but heck, I owe you guys an extra one after I failed to deliver 5 of them last week. So, what television actor would you like to see making the jump into a Star Wars film? I want to know. Email me at 12parsekspodcast@gmail.com or connect with me on any of my social media accounts. All the links can be found on my website, 12parsekspodcast.com. Thanks for listening. Utini!
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. For links and show notes, visit our website, 12parsekpodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsekspodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsekspodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsekspodcast@gmail.com. All Star Wars sounds, music, images, logos, designs, characters, and elements are registered trademarks and copyright of Disney, Lucasfilm Limited, and their subsidiaries and respected rights holders, and used by Less Than 12 Parsecs Podcast under fair use doctrine. All original content is copyright Tim McMahon and Less Than 12 Parsecs Podcast, released under the No Derivative Works Creative Commons license.